So yeah, I don't know. I brought this.
I'm gonna stress about it for hours.
And then I'm gonna message you and be like, I think you're in the wrong spot, buddy.
And then you're gonna go, hey, it's missing audio again. And I'm gonna go, ow!
Oh,
How is
no.
it possible?
Bro, I've been trusting you so hard. I've been
Yeah,
I just uploaded.
it's fair. No one's complained yet.
So I brought this to y'all's doorstep. I hate to like run the show here, but like, what are there like standout things? Like why? Michael, you mentioned that you like noticed some craft stuff in this movie that's like pretty standout because it's like a real director making like one of these things.
Yeah.
And obviously like studio comedies have to kind of operate in this like studio system acceptable box.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I think there's some flexes here.
When indie babies have to run in the studio pocket, there's like a sweet spot that they gotta fit in. But they get to sneak a bunch of stuff through. So
Yeah.
like Jack Black probably ad-libbed like half of his lines. Let's be honest.
So he wrote all of the music in this movie except
That
for
is
one.
yeah, and that's
one thing.
also a common theme with Jack Black being in movies is that if he's there, he's writing music for them, regardless of if it's School of Rock, his own band's namesake movie,
Yeah.
or the Minecraft movie, which historically does not have like lyrical music in it.
Yeah.
I bet Sybil knows all the lines to Jack Black's song Encarnacion.
Yeah.
A real Tenacious D fan. Yeah.
It's a lot more than twice, Jarvis. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Fun fact about me is I loved Jack Black as a kid. And I promise we'll get back to the question I asked you. I loved Jack Black as a kid so much that he had this great appearance on SNL where he sang a song about being in the movie King Kong, his monologue that week. And you cannot...
Oh, no, I remember this.
Yes.
It's so good.
It is so funny and so good. It's one of my favorite all-time SNL monologues. I'm a big SNL fan, and like, it's so funny, and you cannot find it anywhere anymore, for whatever reason. But
No, that's a crazy throwback you're going to that I will have to talk about after Hunter's
please.
done. I'm so impressed that you remembered that.
I loved Jack Black so much, and I loved that monologue so much that I ripped the audio from the video on my computer and burned it to a CD. And then I was like, you know what? I love School of Rock. I love Nacho Libre.
Can you explain to the kids what CDs are?
I love Tenacious D. I love Tenacious D. I'm just gonna like rip a bunch of times that Jack Black sings in things in movies that I like and put them on a CD. So I was like scrubbing the internet.
Black mixtape.
It is a Jack Black mixtape of him like all of his singing scenes in this movie, School of Rock. Every time he sings, even for like 20 seconds in Nacho Libre, like I just had this Jack Black CD that I compiled that I would listen to all the time.
So No. I was gonna say, look, someday if you guys like and subscribe, and we get big enough, when Jack Black guest stars on our podcast, we're gonna have you back, and you're gonna tell him this story.
And
I'm also going to tell him my story, but
I would just say, and selfishly, if anybody knows any avenues to just clip that and let it get to him, I do want him to know. He doesn't need to respond to me. I don't need a whole thing. I just need him to know that I cared about him so much when I was a kid that I burned it onto one of those like gold CDs, like the ones with the gold tops, the blank ones.
I definitely do need a response from him for mine. But I am no Tanner from Love on the Spectrum, so there's not going to be any. I cannot compete with Tanner.
Yeah, of course.
My story. Thank you, Jarvis, for reminding me. I have been in search of lost media for years.
Dude, yeah.
On my iPod Nano,
Yeah.
the one with the little screen, I used to have. I believe it's an MTV curated video, it's like a 15-minute short of Jack Black teaching basic filmmaker like structure, like what is it? It's not the 3 camera setup, but it's the horizon line rule.
Yeah.
and it's him being Jack Black, teaching people how to function with certain like framing rules.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, Andy Dick shows up and like crashes it
Whoa.
with like
time capsule. That's crazy.
And I have no way of recovering any of this footage. I have not seen it for probably like 15 years at this point.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have gaslit myself into believing this exists, but like there's pieces here and there
find it.
that I keep on seeing. But if I Google Jack Black, the actual like technical term, short Andy Dick, nothing pops up.
Nothing comes up. That's crazy.
I even went to the Lost Media subreddit multiple times to be like, hey, I have no way of finding this, and nobody has
been
anything
successful. That's crazy. That's crazy.
So that would be the one thing that I would ask is like, what is this? What is this called?
Yeah.
How can I find it again?
Yeah.
That would be my question to him.
Sure.
We all have questions for Jack Black.
We all have our own personal grails.
What is your question for Jack Black?
What kind of headspace did he have to get into to play a girl in Jumanji?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great performance.
I mean, but to be honest with you, I'd probably just ask him a lot of questions about
Nacho Libre.
the Nacho Libre because I love that movie. Wow. Speak more highly of yourself. You have a lot to offer.
Sybil on the mic. We're getting a lot of producer Sybil this episode. I love it.
I don't think I have a question. I think it'd truly be bringing up the fact that my little sister, when she was 4, was obsessed with the King Kong Jack Black, where she watched it every day for over a year.
I am
And
so
we
glad
shared
there are
a
other
room.
people that know this.
She was 4. She was 4. She would not go to sleep without it. So every single night we shared a room. I went to sleep with Jack Black, King Kong.
Oh my God. And you would just hear,
And I
there's a
was
little
8.
place
I was
know.
8, and so I just kept. I have this movie. I feel like if I could like say any movie like line by line, it would be that movie because it haunted my dreams for like over a year straight. And I remember turning it off and getting yelled at because Summer couldn't sleep without it. Did you actually dream about it? I was 8, and so like a solid year as an 8-year-old, I watched Jack Black's King Kong every single day.
The movie's good. The movie's good.
I also have a crazy Jack Black and King Kong story. It's not that crazy, but I do remember seeing it in theaters and being very excited. It was my first King Kong movie. I was like 12.
Of course.
And so I went with my dad, and at the end of the movie, my dad was like, "What'd you think of the movie?" And I said, "Jack Black was a weird casting choice."
Really weird. I think he's good in that movie.
I also think he's good in that movie.
He's really good in that movie.
Still a weird casting choice.
Crazy. He was just on a heater.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
Have you seen that one? Okay, great.
Cool movie. Anyway,
Yeah, let's.
School of Rock. I love tangents so much. Like,
so good.
They're so fun. But yeah, like
Oh, you asked me a question.
I asked you a question about.
I'm the Asian guy. I love tangents.
I don't even know what that means.
That was actually a good one. Say it again. Say it again.
No, I just said I'm the Asian one, so I should love tangents more.
That's a math joke. Hey, you did it.
Jarvis. Yeah. Let me flick you a point.
That was a double approval. Those are two separate medals of honor. So yes, to answer your question from 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, sure.
I love that there is a character juxtaposition of Dewey being kind of a scumbag, but at the same time caring so much about one specific thing that it ends up benefiting everyone around him. And what I mean is, Dewey's an asshole, just in general, but the kids would come up to him and be like, "Hey, you gave me this thing and I don't really like it." And he was like, "Well, let's find you something that you do want to do. Like, I want you to be totally stoked for this. Like, let's figure out how to like build you up so that you can like be enrolled in what we're doing here." And that's like real teacher shit.
Yeah, I really, that's one thing that's great. I think that a lot of adults can learn is, talking to kids like they're real people and that they matter. Actually listening to the things that they care about or their concerns, and just treating them like a real human being. I think that's very important. But my 2 cents, and I mentioned this before we started recording, is that on the rewatch, I noticed that one of the kids, his role model that he looked up to was Puff Daddy, aka P. Diddy, which in this day and time that does not age well for a kid to love P. Diddy that much, because we know P. Diddy probably is, loves kids as well, but also. The joke,
more like P. Diddle.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's also a joke talking about that parent-teacher conference where Jack Black's character Dewey says, in this class I've he said your kids have touched me. And I'm pretty sure I've touched them too. And then all the parents are like, what? What did you do to our kids?
This is a really interesting screenwriting thing and like a really interesting structure thing in that like the premise of this movie is absurd, right? That like just some random dude would be allowed to impersonate somebody else and like teach a class for several weeks. Like it's a really absurd premise, but like we are in an era of like talking.
We also reviewed What About Bob? That's also a pretty absurd premise.
More absurd premises.
Also known as Thunderbolts.
Sure. But
like that one.
It's we're all just listen. The School of Rock episode is about building bridges. Everybody, it's about building bridges.
You set me up.
It's a weird energy. It's. I bring it.
There's a really weird click thing happening over here where like I'm trying to be like real in with Hunter, and then Jarvis is over here like, yeah, you can rub up on my knob.
It's because I don't have a mic. I can say a lot of stuff that I normally wouldn't say under my breath that only Michael can hear.
But you're like whispering them only to me so that I can greenlight them to tell to Hunter.
It is. It's like a pitch room, your own personal pitch room here. And I think what you should do is hook a mic up to Jarvis. Let's just only ever do the podcast with 2 mics. Hook a mic up to Jarvis, and that's a Patreon tier. They get uncut Jarvis audio.
We should. I actually want you to experience this just once in your life. Watching a movie in the middle of me and Jarvis.
Oh my God.
In a movie theater.
We'll
Because
do it.
the whole movie is just us talking to you.
Yeah.
While we're watching the movie. That would also be a good Patreon tier. Is just us clipped. You don't watch the movie, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing illegal happening, but you just hear mine and Jarvis's
it's a commentary. It's a commentary
over the movie.
But I think this is an interesting screenwriting thing where like it is an absurd premise, and we're in a when people talk about media nowadays, like a lot of times we're like in CinemaSins culture, right? Fox News.
Oh, fake news.
Oh, I see. No, not fake news. This is real news. People often are like trying to poke holes. They're trying to poke holes in things all the time, and there's a lot to poke holes in this movie.
Behave.
Like it's an absurd premise, but there are times in movies where that matters, and I think this movie does a really good job of like sort of. There's a couple times that I was watching it. There were a couple times that I was watching it this time where I was like, this premise is kind of dark. Like there's like a dude who has no qualifications doing whatever he wants with these parents' children inside. And he's like, he kidnaps them and takes them to this place where like one of them wanders off and hangs out and is playing cards in a van with a bunch of random dudes. Like this is dark. And I think the movie in that moment where they make the joke about like, I've been touched by your kids, and I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
I've touched them too, is like it's a letting the air out of the balloon a little bit, like
Yeah.
where the balloon has become so like, what? How have we not touched
Yeah,
on this?
you get to the okay, dude.
That
Sure,
it's-
this is happening.
But it's like a really good trick to like deflate it a little bit, to be like, we know this is dark and we're gonna
Yeah.
make a joke about it. That way you don't have to address it anymore. Like it's fine, you know? And
I did that once at a funeral.
it's really skillful.
It didn't go over well.
letting an air out of a balloon.
Yeah.
Oh,
A literal
Jarvis,
balloon.
why
it was
did you
very
do it?
weird.
Is
It
that
was the
what
farting noise I
you?
did.
I see.
It was everybody
he
was,
farted and he's blaming it on the
Everybody
balloon.
was sad and crying, and I was like, I gotta do something to
I
lighten
get
the mood
it.
here.
Yeah.
This is a time for celebration.
But like you said, I think that's a. Ooh. Now I'm just dubbing over you. Yeah. I don't know. I think
He's our Foley guy for the
I
podcast.
think that's a really. I think that's a really
What do they call that? Where
Foley. Yeah.
no, in movies like where they have to read up their lines.
Oh, ADR. I'm doing
Yeah.
all the ADR. Yeah.
Yeah, well, ADR for you right now.
I'm just reading his lips.
Yeah.
Like whatever. Really low.
I'll make sure that happens.
Yeah. Is there anything, Jarvis, that like you found that is like, did this just feel like a pretty standard like studio comedy, or like were there like some exceptional things that you were
I
like,
mean, so it did just feel for the most part just like that for me. But you know, as we've been talking about it, like I said, I think a good thing about comedies, which I say what you will about Adam Sandler movies, I like them because I feel like he always has something serious and heartfelt to ground out all the craziness and the hilarious things that are happening in his comedy movies. You know what I mean? So for this one though, just thinking about it, talking about it, listening to you guys share your thoughts on it. For me, what really I kind of shared it a little bit is just the fact that like kids are important. You know what I mean? And I don't think that it's crazy because, you know, as we get to adults, sometimes we remember those pivotal moments and sometimes we don't. And sometimes we can't put to words the moment where someone said something or did something or listened to us and it literally changed our lives, or it became a foundation on which the rest of our life has been built. Like one thing that I think, for example, personally, like I think my mom regrets is that she said to me once, she said, hey, it was crazy coming from an Asian mother, but she said, hey, being book smart is good, but common sense is more important. What she didn't know was that I was going to take that to mean, okay, like I already had a very inquisitive mind, but to understand human interaction and like to understand when someone says something, to pick apart, to recognize human behavior, to understand when somebody's doing or saying something. I do feel like I have discernment and understanding when it comes to that. And so, but that's just something that my mom said. That, so I didn't really take college as serious. Like I was like, man, why can't I just audit all these classes? I was like, the knowledge is important, not my grade. I don't really care about the grade. I just care to know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? So going to classes and hearing was important, but not necessarily doing the homework. So my mom didn't like that. But another thing that was kind of subtle that you kind of touched on a little bit is that throughout the time that he was with the kids, individual kids would come up to him and say, hey, thank you. And they would say, thank you for this, or hey, I appreciate that. Or they're like, hey, I want to share this idea with you. And it was the kids approaching him with their problems, kids approaching in front of like the other teachers or the principal. And that's and that's but it's a good bit, but it's just important. I think that's a very important thing if you have a job where you're teaching, or even if you're just a parent or you have influence over a younger generation. Sometimes the things you say and do, fortunately I've been in a position to, you know, teach and stuff like that. And I've had experiences where, you know, either peers or otherwise have reached out. I remember in college, I had someone reach out and say, hey, you know, going through some tough stuff, and you were always someone who was reliable and you always gave good advice. And so that kind of stuff is just important. We don't really, the things that we do say and the actions that we, how we portray ourselves have a much greater influence than we think they do sometimes. And I think that this movie is great at showing that and being there for the important moments. He may not be a great teacher when it comes to teaching, like in a normal, what is expected of a teacher in a class setting, but we as human beings teach through how we carry ourselves, our actions, our words, and he was there for those kids in the ways that they needed more than the ways that the school and society wanted for them. And I think that's pretty cool. I think that's something that is an underlying depth that is kind of just subtle. And I think that if you're not looking for that or recognizing that, then you'll miss it. But I think it's cool to have seen that on this recent rewatch of like how the kids characters in this movie responded to him as an adult. I don't think that, like, kids have trouble trusting adults for lots of reasons, and that's a subtle thing that I think spoke to me.
But I think you guys hit on something really important. That's really important and actually moves me about this movie. That it is a movie that operates with like kindness forward. That it's like he's this slacker, and I think you are to an extent right, Michael, about him being so driven towards like this goal he has to win Battle of the Bands or to like make this rock band. It's funny because like there's a version of this movie where he is so driven by revenge that he's like, no, we have to be good, we have to be on. Mm-hmm. And then there's like that sort of like end of the second act, beginning of the third act thing where like everybody has a fallout and he's been a big asshole and like now he has to like forgive himself and move forward. Like there's that version of the movie, and it doesn't do that. Like he is so driven by this goal, but he's not distracted by the goal.
Yeah, it's like the best side of passion. It's sharing it with others rather than hoarding it.
He
for
like
yourself.
finds that purpose.
Yeah,
and
that's a fair point.
And giving it to these kids, and like every time, what do you have to say, Millie? Thank you.
She was grumbling.
Millie's Corner. She has her news segment.
Very good.
All right.
She's done. She's done with whatever she was
nothing
trying
more
to
say. That he, every time a kid approaches him and is like, Lawrence, when he comes up and he says, I'm not cool enough, the first thing Dewey does without hesitation is like, you're in a rock band, dude. Like, and it's not put on. It is like this earnest connection with this kid where he's not lying to him. He's like, dude, when people are in rock bands, they're cool. Like, that's it. It's just the rule, you know? And then
his childlikeness connected with their child.
That he has this like level of wonder about this thing that he loves so much that he's able to connect with them. And when Tamika, the black girl who wants to be a singer, comes up to him,
this is my favorite part.
And she's like, I don't want to work security, or I don't want to be a roadie, or whatever she says. Like, I want to be a singer. And you can see Jack Black. I just want to say that this performance is like Jack Black's. It's the masterpiece of the Jack Black project. Like whatever Jack Black has always been, like it's just never going to be better than this. And he plays that moment where Tamika comes to him and is like, I want to be a singer. And you can see it in his eyes where he's like, all right, well, look, I'm going to give her a chance. But like, obviously she didn't sing earlier. So she's not that. I don't expect her to be good, but that's okay. There's no judgment there. And she starts singing, and his face is so good where he's like, holy, what do you mean? Of course you can be a singer, And it's he has like the three key kids are Zach, Tamika. He has a moment. I don't think he has I mean, he does have a moment with Miranda Cosgrove. Summer.
It's more so she has a moment with him.
Yeah, she has a moment with him, but he has like those 4 key kids that he has moments with that are like these chances
Self-control.
for the character to prove that he is good-hearted, and it's not put on. It is so organic. Like, that's just who he is. Mm-hmm. And that despite the fact that he's been like a loser and selfish and all of this, as soon as he gets a chance to like give something to people, he takes that. And he talks to these kids like they're people, not things to be like, they're not grades.
They're his bandmates.
They're his band. And like, it is like this actually kind of surprisingly very human story at the heart of this, like, whatever silly studio comedy. If I can bring it up, okay. Well, I guess that's it.
Thanks for watching, guys.
The best scene in the movie is, to me, the first rock lesson. It is right after he's brought all the instruments
What do you
in.
mean? Why did nobody tell me?
Yeah. And all the kids come back in from music class, and he's like, you guys can really play, like that whole thing. And he starts putting the band together. That scene is, I really think, just like a perfect piece of like comedy star, like a comedy star performance. Perfect piece of like, set the camera and trust your star. The camera's always at like interesting places. Like, he's doing low angle shots. He's like doing these, like, he lets the camera play out in these long takes, like just kind of lets the actors do their thing. And it's like so phenomenal to watch. That scene is magic.
I forgot a very important key thing to note about this movie. All of the kids are playing those instruments.
Yeah. They cast the kids based on what they could play.
Hollywood standards are that they just
cast the kid that's
pretend.
Like the best actor, and then we'll take care of the rest.
But no, these kids are good at all of it.
And I think
none of these kids were CGI or used stunt doubles for their scenes.
no AI was used in the
No
making
Jar
of School
Jarring
of
it.
Rock. Yeah. But so, like, he brings up, like, he's trying to like put the band together, and he brings up Zach first, who's like this classical guitarist, and like teaches him how to play.
You ever play an
is it Smoke
electric
on the
guitar?
Water?
And he goes,
Dun, dun,
no, my dad
dun.
says it's from the devil or whatever he says.
Yeah.
Yeah. He says, okay, well, pick this one.
Yeah.
And just, has Smoke on the Water.
And then Highway to Hell.
Yeah.
And just gets him to play that, and then is like, all right, so now we're gonna like, and then we do. Is it Lawrence next? Is it keyboard next, or is it
It's
drums
keyboard.
next? It's keyboard. He brings Lawrence up, who does all the like. I know this scene like the back of my head. And then I think it's
Drums.
It's Freddie Jones, which happens to be, I've been obsessed with this since I was a kid.
Fred Jones.
That is the first and last name of Fred from Scooby-Doo. His name is Freddie Jones. And the kid is like, he looks like a young Fred
really
from
does.
Scooby-Doo. But like, and then you get Katie on bass. What my
Nice.
my favorite
Callback.
joke in the scene is he's like, that big thing that you were playing. What was that big thing you were playing? It's just
cello.
like, the cello. Okay, well, tip this thing to the side. Cello, you've got a that joke is so good. I'm not gonna quote the whole thing. It's so funny.
I think I've talked to Steven about School of Rock once, and he was like, yeah, it's a very formative
Yeah,
for musicians.
it is this like this thing about like
He would never call himself a musician, though.
putting the pieces together. Steven, you're a musician. I've heard the music. You're a musician.
Fuck, Steven.
Got your ass.
You're
I
getting
got your
labeled.
ass, dude. So
Just clip that and send it to him.
it is just like,
We need to tag that one, the timestamp, and get Steven to
For sure.
watch it from there.
For sure. He's gonna text me back. Go, no, please.
he's like falling to his knees in his room.
Just to clarify for the two of you, Steven feels like being called a musician is the same as I feel about being called a filmmaker.
I see. Okay.
It's a cringe term for what I do.
It's pretentious.
No, that's why we do it anyway. Because he's a musician.
If you make music, you're a musician. Sorry. But it is like it's so hard to talk about these kinds of comedies because it's just like, oh, it's good, but like that scene is so well constructed in a way that it like really is this like I'm gonna lay out. It's kind of like what you want to do with comedy anyway, is like put the pieces together and then kind of like bring it all together and pay it off.
It is a textbook break into Act 2.
Yeah.
It is he crossed the threshold, start doing stuff.
And it's like all Jack Black energy. Like it's.
Yes, but that was in the third act of that movie, is when the vampires crossed the threshold.
And so like, that's true. That's the third act of Sinners, the previous movie we talked about. Oh, we went dark. That's okay.
Fade back in.
And we're back. But like, you know, those little filmmaking pieces of like the low angles and the like long takes, I think are really important to note. And then like another one of my favorite scenes in the movie is when the kids put him on the spot about songwriting, and they're like, well, he's like, oh, I'll be shredding lead guitar and doing all the songwriting and lead singer. And then they make him do this, like, The Legend of the Rent song that he's written
which is
about.
very good.
It's a really good song. It is so Jack Black. And this is the first time in my life, I've seen this movie like 100 times. It's the first time in my life that I've noticed that Linklater just is like, it starts cropped in on Jack Black, and the whole scene is done in one take with a slow pull out, like that Scorsese slow. Like, I'm just gonna like expand, and I knew that was coming. I'm just gonna expand and expand and expand.
Sometimes I wish there was a camera on my face so you could see Jarvis's face exactly the way I get to see it.
Yeah, once Apple releases the glass, well, we gotta get the Snapchat glasses. Yeah, the Snapchat Ray-Bans or whatever. But like, it's touches like that I think are just like Linklater being like, this is a really subtle thing. It's not a Spielberg one where I have people coming in and out all the time. You know, like which the magic of the Spielberg one is too, is that you don't realize it's happening until you're like in the middle of it. You know, but. He's just like, I'm just going to like, the magic of this performance is that Jack Black can just do this. And so I'm going to like let him work his magic and trust the actor and trust what this story has to do. And like, I'm going to add this subtle little camera flourish to like help that like subconscious impact of like what he's doing.
I just an actor once. I got played.
So, Hunter, let's play a little game real quick.
Yeah.
Sorry,
game?
We're gonna all go around and guess how much we think this movie costs to make.
Okay.
And then we're gonna guess how much we think it made in the opening weekend, and then I will tell everybody.
Oh, I'm really bad at this.
So Jarvis, will you take the lead so that Hunter has a jumping off point for budget?
Let's say
Jarvis is weirdly good at this now.
Okay.
maybe I should have the mic.
Yeah, that's true.
I want to say like 22 mil.
That's how much it costs?
Yeah. That's his guess.
I think that's a good guess. I'm going to say...
2002.
I'm going to go low. I'm going to say like 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to go with 15?
What did I say? 21?
You said 22.
No, I would not. Why do I sound like that? Why do I sound like a...
32 and $1.
I think...
No, that wasn't my voice.
No, I...
That was my The Price is Right voice.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
35 million was the budget.
Wow.
Would we?
I don't.
Now
I
we
don't
go
know what
around. Do you
budgets look
guess?
like. I don't
So
know what budgets look like.
that's pretty good for like a.
Well, it's a studio comedy. I should have guessed it would be
Yeah,
weirdly
it's
high
pretty
based
good.
on. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to remember, Sinners was 45. Or sorry, 90. Sinners was 90 in
90's big.
2024.
90's big. Yeah,
And that's big.
But this movie is like, I'm sure a lot of it went to use rights for the music.
Probably.
Because they use a Led Zeppelin song. Do you know the story about the Led Zeppelin song in this movie? When they use the Immigrant Song, a great like little small scene.
It's really good.
That scene is so good. Right after they've been cleared to compete at Battle of the Bands, they're in the car jamming to the Immigrant Song. They shot. I think they shot the scene first. I don't know, but there is. I watched all the DVD special features for this to study coming in. I prepare. An actor prepares.
Just goes, yeah, I watched it 4 weeks ago. I do the same thing. It's
Pages
fine.
of notes, baby. I got pages of notes. But
Have we been phoning it in recently?
just bring me in. Just bring me in. So they filmed while they're filming the concert scene. They literally have like 1,000 extras packed into this theater, and Richard Linklater and Jack Black decide what we're gonna do is we're gonna film a plea to Led Zeppelin, who are famous.
Oh, yes.
Who are famous for not letting people use their songs and things. We are gonna film a plea to Led Zeppelin to get them to use the Immigrant Song. And Jack Black is like, and it's got like camera moves in it too. It's like this tight pull up, and it's like a crane shot almost, where it like pulls back, and he's like, "Gods of Rock."
Yeah, I was
please."
about to say, is it the one that he's like actually like hyping them up?
He's like
hardcore.
He gets the entire crowd to chant
Gods
like
of Rock.
Yeah, it's so awesome. You can
Please.
see it on YouTube. It's all we need the Immigrant Song, man. This movie will crumble if we don't use it. You know. It's
Hey, what
fucking
else
awesome.
can we see on YouTube?
You can see Full Time Movie Fans hit
Hell
subscribe.
yeah, brother.
Like
In a couple of months, you'll be able to see Hunter and Amadeus when I sneak a camera in.
no, don't do that. No, don't do that. Don't do
I'm not
that.
gonna do that.
The special features on this movie are great.
It's empty.
I don't want to go on that tangent yet, though. You were talking about
Yeah,
you were
we're
talking
we're
about music.
guessing how much it made opening weekend.
That's right.
So
So
35 budget.
It probably made like 240K.
Okay.
opening weekend.
Real low shot. I like that.
I mean lifetime.
$240,000
or
is
million.
what you think it made. Okay.
Million. That's a
Do you want to do opening week?
big hit.
Oh, opening week. It probably made.
I think
It probably
that's true.
made like. I'll just say it made what I thought it was for the budget. 22.
22. Okay.
Opening weekend. Let's go.
2002.
Let's go. Let's say it like just about meets. Let's go like 35. Maybe it makes its budget back weekend one.
So it was 65 million. 19,622,000.
Okay, but
You were
but-
very close.
I think it makes like 240 while it's during its run or something.
It's gross worldwide.
Okay.
You said 240.
It's like
You're doubling
236.
down. You're doubling down.
I think it's like 236.
Do you have a guess, Sybil? No. 131.
131. Okay, because I looked this up. I wanted to know what it made. and
131.
I just couldn't remember. 1 or 2. Yeah, good job. Good job. I'm so bad at budgets and like I've never been good at money.
So I don't get to play the game, so I'm not very good at it. Jarvis is getting very good at it.
Yeah.
There was like a hot streak where he got like 3 back to back to back,
Yeah.
all 3 numbers, and it was like within like 2 or 3 mil, and it was crazy.
I play this game online sometimes. The box office game, which is inspired by another podcast I listen to. Box office ga.me. And you have to. It gives you a weekend, and you have to guess what the top 5 opening.
Oh, I like
What
that.
the top 5 movies were that weekend, and you can like spend points for hints, like tagline stuff like that. Really fun. Go play. That
Arbitrary-
and Cinematrix are my
Arbitrary rating system. We'll have you start this time.
yeah. Arbitrary rating system. Look, this movie is really personal to me. I adore this movie. There's so many things I love about this movie. This is an own it for me. Like I probably have owned this movie on DVD, Blu-ray, and digital, in 3 myriad forms.
You also have it tattooed on you.
On my I have a Jack Black tramp stamp of him, just like yeah,
It's actually he's being modest. It's a full back tattoo.
full. You know how like Steve-O has his own face tattooed on his back. I have Jack Black's face
From School
tattooed.
Rock specifically.
Yeah. Is that Jack Black? Yeah. Yeah. It's a very small Jack Black. So
He calls it his Jack back tattoo. Jack back black tattoo.
yeah. Sure. Yeah. I think it's an own it. I think it's a really fun movie to revisit. Underrated, super fun, great music, great performance from Jack Black. If you don't like Jack Black, I know Sybil, we talked about this a little bit. Sybil had enough Jack Black after Minecraft. But if you're like me and you're willing to listen to him sing nonsense songs on a loop, which Chicken Jockey and Lava Chicken, I think are like, I would have been a Lava Chicken kid. So like all the kids listening to Lava Chicken are like, I understand you. I know that I hear and understand
I'm
you.
currently a Lava Chicken kid.
I get it. Look,
Adult.
Lava Chicken adult. There are Disney adults and there are Lava Chicken adults. So yeah, I think it's an own it. I love that. I have so much to say about this movie. And so we'll come find me. Come hit me up. I'll talk to you about
heard
School
it.
of Rock anytime.
Find him. He's your where's Waldo task. You got to go find him.
Well, you know where he'll be at a certain day.
Yeah. Go find him. Go find him at his performance.
Yeah.
Did you tell us the date and time already?
No, I didn't
the
look
video
that up
somewhere?
on the Sinners.
We'll figure it out.
Smart.
Arbitrary rating. It's just rewatchable for me. I definitely enjoyed it. It definitely has more depth than it if you just like look at it from a surface glance. You know what I mean? You just put it on the background, you're gonna miss some of the nuanced stuff that we've all talked about. But it's rewatchable. It's enjoyable to rewatch.
I do own it. That's my rating.
He's like, I have unfortunately been saddled with owning this
yeah.
film.
Well, I also own Dance Flick, if anyone knows what that is.
Okay, well, I don't trust your own
that's-
anymore.
And he owns the Emoji Movie, so take that.
No,
That's surprising to me.
so-
I know how much you love to reference the Emoji
I love
Movie.
referencing the Emoji Movie.
Also, Connection, also written by Mike White. Not
Yeah.
a joke. Also written by Mike White.
Yeah,
Also written by Mike White.
with assistance by T.J. Miller.
Listen to what. Listen.
Quick Jack Black. Simple thinks you just need to get really high to watch it.
Yes.
Look, any movie where you can start a scene, right? The Just Dance scene. Go to the bathroom, make yourself a snack, drive to go get yourself topped up on gas, come back, and it's still happening. That's a service to you, you know?
Yeah, this is your built-in intermission.
Yeah. Well, there's something happening in case you like want to stay engaged.
Yeah. For anybody curious, if you're in the San Antonio area, June 5th through June 29th, Amadeus runs Fridays, Saturdays, Sunday matinees
Simple and I will be there June 6th.
at the Classic Theater. Yeah, I'm excited to see you guys. It's going to be a cool show.
Right front center. I'm
we-
going to have a banner and
Oh,
and
I'm really
and a
nervous.
face t-shirt.
We haven't started rehearsals yet, but we have like a month of rehearsals and then we just jump.
Who are you
into the
playing?
show. I'm playing Mozart. Yeah, I'm playing Mozart. It's going to be fun.
Is that why you're growing your hair out?
No, I am growing my hair out because I'm always scared to cut my hair just before I start a show because
Okay,
I don't know
that's
what the director is
very
going to
fair.
say.
That's very fair.
So if I cut it too short, if they're like, no, actually, I wanted it long, whatever. But I would say for people, if you like Hamilton incredibly inspired by Amadeus and Mozart and
show.
Salieri. Yeah,
It's a good show.
yeah.
And you already saw my excitement in response without knowing that you were Mozart.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and if you like music, if you like School of Rock, you like music.
Steven.
Steven?
Go see Amadeus. Steven.
Mozart, one of the greats. Am I right? Yeah, I don't know. I love music. This movie's really. I grew up listening to some of this stuff, and like, it was cool to like learn about other music because of this movie. The way that kids like hear one song and get obsessed with it, one old song, and they get obsessed with it. I had a student who like was obsessed with Tears for Fears after Despicable Me 4, and like always wanted to talk about Tears for Fears, a great band. You know, like, and I still have this every once in a while, like. And so I think this movie is like a really beautiful exploration of music and banding together under a common goal. Yeah.
Well, thanks for being here, Hunter.
Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for talking about thanks for going on tangents with me and for talking about one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
It's a silly good time.
We wouldn't want to go on tangents with anybody else.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that's rude. Don't get. Oh no, now it's butthole Mike.
I didn't. I put it. Oh, because.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I see. Well, we have done some historic things by bringing Hunter back, as you guys have all requested. We hope that you're satisfied with it. You got what you wanted. Okay?
We hope you're satisfied. It's such a funny way to be like,
Stop asking us.
are you satisfied?
Okay. You know, I fed Hunter with
They did.
food from
I
my
was not
home.
paid for this except for
All right.
in delicious broccoli beef. It was good. It was
thank
really
you.
good. I was really into it.
Yeah. Do you want to play us out? I'll get the banjo.
Yeah, we were all really into this episode and the prior one featuring Hunter. So this is technically your fourth review with us.
It is. It is.
What do you want to say anything to the Full-Time Movie fans that are watching?
Shout out to everybody who watches the show. I know these guys work really hard on what they do, and I love being here. I love talking about movies, and producer Sybil on the boards. Thanks for everything you do. Okay, this is a good way to close it out. I'm gonna pretend to know what I'm doing. Watch more movies. Let these guys know what you want them to cover. Come find me and let me know what you want me to cover next time I come on, if I ever come on again. There's so much. Back to emptiness. Yeah. Watch more movies is all I have to say.
Yeah,
Watch more movies.
Guys, thanks for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. Feel free to leave a like, subscribe, comment. We're trying to get to our next goal is 200 subscribers, and then the one after that is 500, and then 1,000. We're gonna review Michael's movie. So, guys, we hope your day is everything you dreamed it being and more, and we'll catch you in the next one.
On the stone in the ancient time.
Sup? You know, you'd look cooler if you'd subscribed.
Your dad wouldn't be so disappointed in you if you subscribed.
Your friends would do it. Aren't you like them? Don't you want to be like your friends? Your friends would do it. Nah, you're too much of a wimp anyway.
Yeah,
You could watch a couple other videos though, if you were cool.
Yeah, you won't though. Should.